Welcome back to the Voice of Metal, where we talk about all things metal. I gotta say, there's one thing I have to say. I definitely wanted to apologize, like I said last time. See, now my screen's not showing up, so I'm not even sure if I'm really live or not. But I had mentioned the last episode that I wanted to apologize to somebody, um, Heidi especially, because she's the main person in the band for Butcher Babies. Um, and tried to explain this maybe a little clearer. What I was trying to convey on Twitter. I'm hoping that explains it. If not, please reach out to me and let me know. Because I definitely don't want you guys mad at me because I do appreciate you guys a lot. And also, I'm hoping that you guys take my criticism, regardless of how negative or maybe not so positive as it is. Because really, quite frankly, I'm very picky when it comes to music and different things that happen in the stuff that I've listened to. And part of the reason why is because those are the songs that have made it huge. Those are the bands that made it huge. You know, they've earned that, and they've also done certain things and certain steps to get there. I know a lot of people think that like Metallica sold out and this, that, and the other. And yeah, I can kind of see that a little bit in some ways, but also they also evolved to grow and to evolve to make it something bigger than they are. But they also try to, I guess some people say they change the way their music sounds to make it to where everybody likes it. It's kind of reminds me of like playing video games. There's certain games they feel like they've nerfed the game, so it's not like it's original like it should be or what a lot of people expect it to be. And I think that some of the games that some of the really good ones that don't quite nerf it, they nerf it for people who are starting, but they don't nerf it for those who are ones that are well versed in the gameplay. It's kind of like for music. I guess for me personally, when I started listening from pop music to, hair band kind of music a little bit, I wasn't really into the real heavy stuff at the time because I thought, oh no, that's just bad stuff. I felt the same way like a lot of people do, and I'm kind of, this is part of the other reason why I'm doing this, and I'm hoping Heidi understands that. Um, that hopefully she'll see the value in that, and with me getting to know them and other bands like them, and hopefully other bands later on down the road when I start and grow this channel, that I want to get to know the individuals. So when I say we talk about all things metal, what I mean is that we're talking about metal music that implies to the person themselves. Because to me, we are the person themselves is the core of the band, the essence of the person and the how they do things. And this reminds me of the new Beastly Devastations from Cavalera, the Cavalera Conspiracy, which was originally under Sepultura, that's actually being re-released on Nuclear Blast Records, which actually is great because one, it sounds better, hopefully. I got to hear a sample on YouTube, and it's remastered, so where it's actually a little bit more, how you say, more, I guess, louder, because I mean a lot of the remaster stuff sounds a lot more and louder compared to some of the older stuff that I've listened to, like when I'm listening to my music. And I do listen to a lot of music, and I try to mix it up. And sometimes when I say play some music, it usually ends up defaulting to certain ones, and especially Metallica's, which I'm not trying to actively listen to them personally. It's just like other songs. But there are some songs that keep playing over and over again, which is fine. I don't mind that at all. So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit by trying to do Discover and to do deep cuts. So that way I know all the songs or more of the songs of different bands instead of the more popular songs. Because to me, every song out there, regardless if it's a really bad song or a really phenomenal song, I still want to hear it. So that way I can say, hey, look, this one I didn't like as much because this is my personal opinion, but that doesn't mean that you won't. Um, and when I get back to the whole core of apologizing to them, that's basically what it's all about. I mean, I want them to feel like that I am not judging them, but to hopefully help them grow as a band too, and to kind of connect with the fans. And I kind of, part of the reason why I said what I said was I felt like I was being treated unfairly at the end, like with the meet and greet that we did, because she didn't think I wanted to talk to them. So of course I want to talk to you guys. You guys are the reason why I paid X amount of dollars to do that. But I'm hoping that I won't have to do that later on, because I want you guys on the show, at least each individual, so that way each person has that time one-on-one to talk with me, whoever it may be. Because I would definitely like to have each and every one of you guys on there, on my channel, because I think it would be great to know you guys personally, not so much just the band. But you guys can interject with that, because one of my questions for them was about the music and this, that, and there, and what the band, what the song was about, and what it reflected about their personalities and who they were, and which one did it sound more like. There were some certain songs I felt were maybe one person more than the other, but I'm sure they both relate to the same message. And that's what I was trying to get at. And that was like what I was talking with September Morning and some other bands I've listened to. I wanted to get to know them. I wanted to get to know what their thought process was for making the songs that they do, because it's like Max and Igor Cavalera. Max has said in articles in the past, and I've read this myself personally, he was influenced by certain bands, he was actually, he did some crazy things just to get certain albums that he wanted to from his brother. But what's rather interesting is that the one comment he made that people say, well, this is some of the best, the old stuff is like some of the best stuff. He looks at it in a way, and this is a kind of an eye-opener for me, and I'm hoping it's eye-opener for everybody else, that I've got a lot of great music, but I still think there's a lot to explore. And he's talking about the exploration and evolving as a musical entity, and experimenting with new sounds, new feels, the type of instruments they use. They really did a huge break in the norm, I think, on some of their music when it comes to the Roots Bloody Roots album, because they have some instrumentals that aren't traditionally associated with metal. And I think that's what I look for. That's the kind of stuff that I think makes a band bigger, better, bolder than all the rest. Slipknot is the same way. Slipknot had a unique sound. They had all these different things going on in the music, so to mix it really complex. So it's like an orchestra, instead of just a band. There's a lot of bands like that. Even Gojira sounds like, I apologize for not knowing the band. They are newer to me, so when I say new, to me, they are new. But really, Slipknot has only been around for about 20 years. Max and Igor Cavalera, Anthrax, let's see who else. There's a bunch of them. Blossom and Jetsam, Obituary, bunch of different bands that have been around a lot longer than 20 years. Pantera, System of Down's been around about the same time. So to me, System, even though they're really good, they've been around for a while, but I still think they're still not new, but they're not old, if you know what I mean. They're kind of in the middle, because like really the 80s, roughly, this probably the I think I don't know if they're like Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, now that's an old band. I mean, they're like from the like 70. I'm not sure when they started, 79 maybe, or 80. I'm not sure. I think it's late 70s, but they didn't sound quite the same as all the bands that they have now. But the future bands were influenced by their music and their personalities. And a lot of times we take our tragedies, our feelings, our emotions, things that mean a lot to us as people, as an artist, as a musician, as personal experiences in life, to not only grow, but to learn, to evolve, to make music or life decisions to try to be the best that we can. We're not always perfect, and I know I'm far from it, and I definitely made mistakes, just like I was just saying. That's why I had to apologize. But I will say this much, and I'm going to say this right now, and I don't want you guys taking this personally, But as far as I'm concerned, and I hate to tell you this, for me personally, when a band is to a certain point in their career, they need to have a phenomenal third, fourth, fifth album, whatever that album is. And it should have been a while ago, first of all, because you're not Metallica. You can't wait 5 years. 2 to 3 years, possibly, would be the longest I would go without putting out an album. I know the pandemic did kind of botch things up. They did have singles out, which is great. I mean, they had some really great singles. Some of them, I haven't listened to. I'm not going to because, of certain situations. I'm not going to get into all that. But I got to looking at the actual album. That was a double release of the two, and I'm not going to say their name. But what it is it's a rewrap of all the singles except for one new song, at least on the one album. I don't know about the other album. I haven't seen that, so I don't know. I can't make a comment. But for me personally, I feel like you kind of gypped your fans. No offense. So I mean, granted, it's more cost efficient for you. I know that sometimes the singles are a lot less money, and you guys are starting off, and you guys need to save as much money as you can, which I totally get because you need equipment, you need like lighting effects and all this other stuff. But you know what? Actually, when I went to the Obituary concert, it wasn't really huge production, and they've been around for longer than Slipknot, and Slipknot has a huge light show and smoke and stuff, which gives to the presence of the presentation that they're trying to portray. But Obituary did it really well just with their music alone. And I can see where my coworker was saying that what it boils down to is sometimes you don't want to just sacrifice things for the look or the feel. The presentation is important, but also the professionalism, the sound, and not changing who you are as a core of the band, because they do really well with their music. I'm really impressed. And the one thing I like about them most of all is that they're very heavy, so it's very, very deep, but you can make out pretty much most of what they're saying. And there's a lot of bands out there they can't say that. Max has been really good about that, I think, and there's some other bands out there. There's some that Decapitated is another one. I'm trying to think. Morbid Angel is a little bit, where you can't understand everything that they say in their music, which, I mean, it's great music, it's great things, but then you have to like read the things. And most people would say, if they're not listening to metal music, they're going to say, oh, well, this sounds like a bunch of noise. Well, yeah. But if you think, it's like I said before, it's an opera. Think of it. There's all these operas that they have this deep, monotone, these really deep tone voices, right? And here they are, they're doing this, and these people love this music, but it's not really noise per se. It sounds good, but they're making it so deep and dark that it sounds kind of like metal. And a lot of people that are in the metal that love metal are into opera and this or along this classical music usually. So that's the one thing that I've kind of related to back in the past, is that sometimes you got to look at the overall message. And if you really listen to the music instead of just the noise per se, that you'll get the gist of it. And it's really, it's an emotional feeling. It's putting you in that state of mind. Because even though it sounds like noise, it's not quite always noise. And sometimes the instruments kind of, how you say, give you that feeling of a certain way, like Without a Conscience is in one song from Obituary that's really good. 99, no, I forgot, what is it called? I thought it was 1,000 Ways to Die, but it's not. It's I can't remember now. It's a good song. I forgot the name of the song. I can't believe I forgot the name of the song. So, like I said, I make mistakes. But anyway, so I'm hoping, like I said before, that with all this, I can actually get the viewers in and watch the concert, and maybe even interview some people in person at some of the concerts, so that way you guys can be a part of it and say, What is it about the band that you like? Why is it that you like this band? What songs do you like and what makes you feel a certain way? That's some of the questions I'm going to ask them too, because it's like, what songs are your favorite songs? What that you've done? Which songs that other bands have played? What what kinds of things do you think, or why do you think that they said this or did this, that, and or what? How does it make you feel? Um, Music is definitely a feel and to open your eyes to new things. And I'm hoping that with this, that maybe I can open some eyes to people that don't know metal music and think it's just nothing but noise. But that was, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I had a persuasive speech years ago in college that I had to come up with a certain topic, and then I had to come up with a thing to convince people that what my topic was not what people assume. It's persuasive. I'm going to persuade you into thinking the way I think. And that's about metal music. And basically what it boils down to is like, I think Countdown to Extinction is one of the songs that I use in the example. And I forgot what other songs, but Lights from the Tablecloth is a good one. Countdown to Extinction. There's quite a few other ones. Sleeping with the Enemy with the Butcher Babies. That was talk about suicide. You know, if you think about it, I mean, because you hear the words, you know what they're talking about. It's that inner enemy that's saying everything's going to be okay, you know, and this, that, and the other. The way they word it, I forgot exactly all the words to the song, but you're basically when you lay down in bed, you're pretty much well, it's always there. It's going to fight you. You know, it's going to make you feel like that whatever you're doing, whether it be good or bad, to harm or hurt you, is going to be okay. And that you don't need anything other than me, you know. And it's that sickness that kind of does that. It's kind of like I will say this much, and I think I'm right. I'm not positive on this, but to me, that song was about their good friend that had basically committed suicide. That isn't a band. And it's sad to see that happen. And the one thing, and I want to say this right now to Carla, because I want her to know that just because you were a therapist and you've been through that and you've had the training doesn't mean you're going to see everything. Because sometimes the closest people that are related to, you know, people that you're close to, you don't always see everything that's going on with them. So sometimes you got to step back and take it, you know, from a different point of view. But you can't blame yourself for that. And I think she does or did at the time. I think she might have moved on from that, but I don't know. So those are the kinds of things that I talk about. That's the kind of things that I want to talk about. And it'd be kind of interesting to talk about her because I don't know that much about her. I just knew that they were good friends with her, and I don't know that much about her band, unfortunately. I don't even remember the name, to be honest. But I do remember about it and when it happened. It's kind of like some of the other people with the fires in California. There was a good friend of Carla's that was in need of help. And the way she explained it was that this person is such a great person. She puts other people before herself, and I kind of reached out to Carla. I said, look, I'd like to help out. You know, if I can contribute some money or something to help her out, that'd be awesome. And not everybody can get, you know, people to, you know, do that because they're not super famous. Like, well, I should say super famous for the fans of the band. Because to me, there are differences between bands. There's some that are well known, but not super well known. There's some bands that are so well known that everybody knows who they are. That they're on national TV, you know? So, not saying that everybody's going to be that way. It will maybe become that way. And that's what I was talking about with the albums. I think that right now, you guys need a full album, not 6 songs. Oh, that reminds me. That was the other thing I was kind of going to point out. 6 songs? Nah. You got to have at least 12. 12 songs for a good album. Even if it's just an intro for one of them. That's what a lot of them do. They do this intro and outro, which is like 2 songs off. You get 10 songs, and do some original. Maybe do one cover, or do maybe one single. That I can see possibly not hurting you too much. But when you're repackaging the whole thing, yeah. Now there is one band, I will say this much, and they've gone huge so far, and I was absolutely correct on, and they're doing it perfectly. And I've seen their Instagram posts, I've seen all their stuff. So their marketing is really good, actually. And that's another thing. Marketing has everything to do with the band thing. If you want to be big, you got to make sure that you put yourself out there as far as the band, the type of presence that you want to portray, professionalism, I guess you could say. Bloody Wood does a phenomenal job with that. I mean, they went on YouTube, they started all of this. They did covers for a while. They even played around with some different songs they had. They even wrote a song that was really awesome. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I know the song. But anyway, the song actually, they tweaked it. They got some feedback on YouTube, which is rather interesting to hear a band do that, because not every time you hear the song before its full release, I guess you could say. It's more like it's a work in progress, I guess you could say. So they played bits and pieces of it here and there, and they had all these people watch them on YouTube, and I think it was great. And then they added this person that was a really good singer along with that, like some of the other people in the band. So once they did that, they got everything situated. They got their sound, they've got the balance that they needed for the Indian/metal sound that they were going for, and they also got some feedback, which is great. So that right there sets them up for major success, I think. When it comes to that, and you hear that, you feel that in their music, and they're actually not only selling out shows, they're selling out shows to younger people, not just people my age. We're talking 20-somethings and 30-somethings that don't usually listen to metal music normally. So that says a lot. That says volumes right there. So if you really want to be huge, you need to span everybody, to be honest, not just the older generation or the younger generation. But I personally liked them, and I knew they'd be huge. And I told that to some of my people, people that I have, friends and stuff like that. I said, this band is the band to look out for. They are going to be humongous. Just like I thought about other bands. And so far, they've kind of let me down a little bit on that one, because there's one song that got my attention. That's where all this started from, where somebody I had wanted to get to know a long time ago, 17 years ago, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody in their advertising department. I did. I called for 3 years, different people, the NFL, we're talking the company that made the ad. I'm not going to get into all that. To find out the advertising agency. I think I called some actual agencies too, to find out, because they hire actors. I had to find somebody that did the agents that did commercials, or companies that did commercials. I think I called 2 or 3 that I thought maybe it was based on certain information that I could think of. Yeah. And years later, I find out that they're in this band. It's like, oh, fun. But I didn't have to listen to them. I didn't have to like them. It's a fate thing. That was a fate thing, that when I heard the music, like I said before, and I'll say it again, I'm pretty particular. So if a band has a strong instrumental and their vocals aren't very strong, I probably won't like them. I'll listen to them to give you a critique, and I try to I'm trying to expand beyond what I normally listen to and things I may like. Nine Nice Kills, I'm not too big of a fan of. Sleep Token, I'm not a big fan of. I think it's more of a poppy type style. Not really even, to me, I don't even think it's metal, to be honest. It's somewhere in between. Personally, that's my opinion, but that's not everybody's opinion. So if you're a Sleep Token fan, I'm sorry. It's not bad. It's not horrible, but it's not my kind of, I guess, metal. I guess say Ghost. I have a mixed feeling of. There are some songs that I really like a lot, and there are some songs that they're pretty commercialized. They're kind of, but they got a niche going. You know, it's kind of like other bands like September Morning and stuff. They have their niche. And there was another band that was opening. No, they were opening for Raw, I think is what it is, and they actually did some pretty good music. I love the live performance. There's another band, Above Snakes. They do a really good job with their kind of rappish style rock, I guess you say. Interesting outfit for the guy. I think maybe he might have to rethink it a little bit, make it more stream. I don't know. Not quite so well, not so much out there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Who knows? He'll evolve over time. That's what most bands do. They look really ridiculous when they're younger, and then by the time they get like James's age and stuff like that, just got refined, and you know, they just get rid of all the hoopla, kind of like other bands that I just mentioned. So anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Hopefully you guys will listen to the new Cavalier Beastly Devastations. And I forgot the other, Morbid Visions is the other one, I believe, the EP. So check that out. And actually, it does sound really good. I kind of skipped over a little bit, bits and pieces, so I got to hear parts of the album, and it does sound really impressive. So I think you'll really like it. I'm planning on trying to get that on this stream, so that way you guys can listen to it, at least the music itself, not just the video. But yeah, so check it out, and hopefully I won't have to apologize to anybody again. I don't put my foot in my mouth and, you know, this, that, and the other, and people give me criticism. Hey, I guess I you know, you got to take the brunt of the punishment, or else you can't be in the game, right? So, you know, just like being on YouTube, there's going to be a bunch of haters out there that might not like what I have to say. But guess what? It's my channel. But I definitely try to respect people, okay? I'm not going to sit there and dish you because you like a certain band, you know, because, hey, we all got our own musical taste. We all got our musical interests. And, you know, as far as Chad has said before, we are all metal. We're all one big metal family. So does Corey Taylor. And I'm hoping that maybe they'll jump on board and help me out as a metal family member to make the channel happen, because that's what it's all about. It's about the people. It's about you guys out there. It's about me and the guys in the band and all the people that make it work possible. Because I felt bad about those people, to be honest with you, that they didn't have anything to do as far as a job. And most of the musicians were doing stuff at home, producing music and this, that, and the other, doing virtual tours, and that doesn't help those people, the touring people. And they work their butts off to get everything set up and ready to go for all of us to enjoy our favorite band's music. So I want to make sure I get a nice big shout out to all those people. And if you are, let me know. I would love to hear from you. Even just a comment below. Maybe we'll have you on. Who knows? It'd be kind of cool if you're like a sound technician or whatever it is, like lighting or smoke effects or something like that. You could just talk a little bit about that and about yourself and who you've done stuff for. Like I know one of my coworkers' father used to be set up stuff for Slipknot and some other bands, and got to know quite a few people personally, which is really cool. That not many kids have that opportunity, so that's quite a story. So thanks for watching. Take care. Don't forget to headbang, like, and subscribe that button out there, people. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of the people that follow right now, and all the comments from Clover and others like her on the channel. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you. And hopefully I'll see you out there at the concerts. We'll see. I'm planning on going to the Max and Igor Cavalier show, so you know. And I'm talking way too long, so I'll shut up. Take care. Have a good night.